Whisper.
Hey, Brooke.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
I'm trying to post it real quick on the website, and then we'll get right into it because I have about 30 minutes, and then if you still need me later, I will meet with you at our other time.
Okay.
But I just after I got your email, I got quite a few others. So I thought, well, if I could just maybe even get everybody started, and then possibly if I needed to, like come back and do one again.
Yeah.
Later, I could.
Yeah, and I worked through the whole first column. Like, you know how it's like 2 columns?
Yes.
So I did the first column and then
You go, girl.
Yeah, but I'm getting a little stuck with the like fractions and stuff. They're just getting a little harder, you know.
Yeah. So you didn't have any trouble with the other side?
Not really, no.
That's because you're a genius.
Oh, that's sweet. I don't know about that, but
it's true. It's true.
Well, Jana Wren also helped me with it too because we're doing it. We're in the same study hall, so.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. So then, what I'm gonna do is, do you want me to start the one that says red, or do you want me to start with orange?
You can start with the one that says orange.
Orange. Okay. So the very first thing you're going to do, and on these, like I'm going to write big and then just have to erase, but on these, what you want to do, I couldn't do it on this piece of paper. For my life, I don't think I could. So a lot of times, as a matter of fact, so it doesn't get real ugly. Let's see what all's over on I have this blank piece of paper.
Yeah.
That sometimes I use. So I'm just going to go over there and rewrite the problem, hopefully. But now it's not working, so I'll just go back. Technology is a blessing and a curse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now that's not coming back up. I don't understand. Okay. My computer is like completely locked up. I know.
I hate when that happens.
I know, right? I can't help anybody if my computer won't work. So kind of to looking at orange, the first thing you want to do is just break down. It's almost like, working with the order of operations. So on orange, you're going to want to distribute that squared on the top, on the numerator.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Please, for the love of Jesus, please open. I'm so sorry.
You're good.
So you'll distribute that squared value to everything inside the parentheses. So 6 squared is 36. And then when it's a power raised to a power, you multiply. So if the x squared has a 2 on it, so 2 times 2 is 4. And then the y cubed times 2, that's going to be y to the 6th.
Okay.
And then it's all over 4x squared y to the 5th. So 36 divided by 4 is 9. And then x has a 4 on it and a 2 underneath. So you're going to subtract those. 4 minus 2 is x squared.
Okay.
And then 6 minus 5 is 1.
So you just put y.
So you just put y. So my answer for orange is 9x squared y.
Okay.
So I'll put it in its proper place.
Yeah. And then you're supposed to like match the columns?
Yes.
So like number 3 goes with orange. Oh.
Yes. And so that's why it's kind of self-checking. If you don't get an answer that's in one column to the other, you know.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I said coloring is optional, but you still should have matching columns.
Right. Okay.
So for yellow, once again, you're going to want to distribute that 3 to everything inside the parentheses. And 3 cubed is 27. And then -3 times 3 is -9. And then y, that's an assumed 1 as the exponent on that. And 1 times 3 is 3. And then you've got it times 2x y to the -4th. So I'm just going to multiply that, and 2 times 27 is 54. And then this is a +1 with a -9. So that's going to give me an 8. But because it's I'm just going to go ahead and write it this way first. And then I've got a 3 plus a -4. So that's with a -1.
Okay.
So then to write it the correct way, when it's a negative exponent, it goes in the denominator. So this would be 54 over x to the 8th y.
Okay.
So that should match number 8.
Yeah. I got that.
So for light green, let's see, you got to distribute the 3 to everything inside the parentheses. So once again, we've got 27. And then when it's a power raised to a power, you multiply the exponent. So that's 5 times 3. So that's x to the 15. And then 5 times 3 again on the y. So that's 15. And then that's all going to be over 3x to the 3rd, y to the 11th. And so now we're going to reduce this. 27 divided by 3 is 9. 15 minus 3 is 12. 15 minus 11 is 4. So my answer is 9x to the 12th, y to the 4th, once that part's all reduced. And then what you'll notice is, just like in regular algebra, you cannot combine like terms unless like this x to the 12th matches this x to the 12th. And this y to the fourth matches that y to the fourth. Those are actually considered like terms.
Okay.
So I can add my 9 and my 4. So that's going to be 13 x to the 12th, y to the 4th.
Okay.
And that should match number 5.
Yes.
So this isn't hard stuff. It's just tedious and making sure that you're paying attention to detail.
Yeah.
So for dark green, we have 34 divided by 2, which is 17. And then we have 10 minus 8, which is 2. And then 9 minus 6, which is 3. I could have written that one straight in there. I never know if there's going to be more work.
Yeah.
Is this making sense?
Yeah.
They are a little more complicated maybe on this side.
Yeah, I think just a little bit.
And then this one, 42 divided by 7 is 6. And then 9 minus 2 is 7. And 5 minus 3 is 2. So you have y squared.
Yeah.
For dark blue, we've got 3 times 8, which is 24. And then when we're multiplying, you add the coefficients. So we've got a -4 plus a -1. So that's going to be a -5. And then 9 plus a -6. Find the difference and give the sign of the higher. So that's going to be y to the third. So for this one, we've got 2 positive, which is the 24, and the y to the third. And that's all going to be over x to the 5th because that has our negative coefficient.
Right.
So for purple, we have to distribute that 4, that power raised to a power, to everything inside the parentheses, including the constant. So that's going to be 2 to the 4th, which that is, let's see, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. And then -2 times 4 is -8. And 3 times 4 is 12. And so now I'm going to take this answer. It's being multiplied by this. So I'm going to do 16 times 2, which is 32. And then -8 plus 19 is a positive 11. And a positive 12 plus a -6 is a positive 6.
Okay.
Which one does that match?
32x.
Oh, number 2.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So once again, we're going to distribute the squared value to everything inside the parentheses. So I've got -8 squared, which is 64. And then x cubed raised to the second power is going to be x to the 6th. And then 2 times 2 is 4. So that's going to be y to the 4th. And then it's being multiplied to 2. So that's going to be 64 times 2 is 128. And then you'll add the x to the 6th to the x to the squared. So that's going to be x to the 8th. And then you'll take the y to the 4th and add it to the y to the 6th. Or you're taking the exponents, I should say.
Yeah.
That's y to the 10th. All over 32 x to the 8th, y to the 3rd, right? Did I rewrite that right? So 32 actually goes into 128 4 times. And then I've got 8 minus 8, which is 0, and x to the 0 is really 1. So they kind of cancel each other out. And then 10 minus 3 is 7. So this answer is 4y to the 7th.
So when you take the like 8 minus 8, it's like there's no x at all then?
No, ma'am. Okay. Because technically, that's a really good question. Technically, what you're looking at is this.
Okay.
So that really is the same as 1.
Yeah.
Or if you're doing 8 minus 8, that's 0. And anything raised to the 0 power is 1.
Okay. Thank you.
So no matter how you look at that one, how you want to break that one down, you still have a 1 and you don't have to write anything.
Yeah.
And then the last one on this side is, let's see. We're going to multiply the 3 and the 6. That's going to give me 18. And then we're going to add the exponents of the x variable. That's 3, and there's an assumed 1 over here. So that's going to be x to the 4th. Okay. And then add 4 and -5. That's going to be -1. And then we've got to distribute this power to everything inside the parentheses. So that's going to be 9x squared y squared. So now we have 18 divided by 9, which is 2. And 4 minus 2 is 2. And -1 minus 2 is y to the -3. So rewritten, so there's no negative exponents, you're going to have 2x squared over y to the 3rd.
Okay.
Because if there's a negative exponent, it goes in the denominator.
Right.
Did that help?
Yes, thank you so much.
No problem. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Could you do the dark blue one again?
The dark blue one.
Thank you, Miss Sparks.
You're welcome. Have a good day, Brooke.
You too.
Okay. 3 times 8 is 24.
Okay.
And then -4 and a -1 is -5. And then 9 and -6 is 3. So everything that's positive goes on the top. 24y cubed all over, and then the x to the 5th goes at the bottom because it has a negative exponent.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. I will, for anybody else who missed this, because Mackenzie has a doctor appointment this afternoon, I'm going to post the recording of this to kind of get everybody started. But it's kind of self-checking in that you should have an answer on the right side that matches something on the left side, and each one has its own match. So that, that kind of helps narrow it down a little bit. Yeah. Any other questions?
I don't think so.
Did that help?
Yeah.
Clarify some stuff? Just the key is just taking it one step at a time and kind of breaking it down, and not going too fast. And I don't know if you were here, but I told Brooke earlier, it's so difficult to do it on this piece of paper. I would definitely have to have another piece of paper for these. And I tried to bring up another one at the very beginning of math lab, but computer was not cooperating very much today.
Yeah.
So, but I will post the recording of this. How were you guys here pretty early on? Did you get to see the whole right side?
Yes.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, good. I'm sorry?
I think for the most part, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to post the recording on our Google Classroom. So if you need to go back and watch it, you can.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Well, y'all have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you.
Take care. See you in the morning. Bye-bye.